where everyone is welcome as part of a team. Our team members are accepted and validated while they are young men growing up. They become comfortable in their own skin because everyone around them is treating them with dignity and respect. They do not need to demonstrate power or strength or emotional containment to be a man. Simultaneously, with our close relationship with the girls' teams, they realize that young men and women who work hard together and treat each other with respect are successful. Every day, we demonstrate that equality and respect are a powerful defense against the harmful perceptions of masculinity that ultimately drive gender-based violence and discrimination. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As you heard, my name is Pria Parker, and I'm a junior at Hingham High School where I compete on the cross-country and track teams. It's really such an inspiration to be here and hearing everyone speak and all these influential people, because it really gives me hope for the future and knowing that there's going to be change. The boys track team has been attending Jane Doe events for 10 years, but this is the first time that the girls team has been involved. And I think I speak for everyone from Hingham who attended the Reimagining Manhood Symposium in December when I say that it was an extremely enriching experience, and I hope we will have more members from both teams in attendance in years to come. In Hingham, our boys and girls track teams are a close-knit, united group of dedicated student athletes. Unlike many high school sports teams, our boys and girls track teams and cross-country teams spend much of our time together. We practice together, we compete together, and we share pasta parties and banquets. We strive to create a welcoming environment where everyone can feel safe and respected by everyone else on the team. We treat team spirit and culture with the utmost importance. Even at meets where we race separately, a multitude of Hingham athletes can be found surrounding the track and throwing areas, screaming at the top of their lungs and cheering for their teammates. I've always been very moved by the camaraderie between the boys and the girls track teams, and it was especially present even from my first season with the team. I remember vividly one race in my freshman year when I was running the mile. I was midway through the race and fatigue was beginning to set in. As I was rounding one of the turns, a group of athletes from the boys track team began to cheer for me, yelling out my name and encouraging me to continue to fight and be strong. These were teammates who were older than me, whose names I didn't even know at the time. I'd never once had a conversation with them or introduced myself, and yet they cheered for me. And so, with a smile on my face and a newfound boost of energy, I finished the race, feeling stronger than ever. And looking back now, I can't remember my time from the race or what place I came in, but I will always remember those cheers. And I will remember the feeling of togetherness and respect that we create in Hingham, and how it can change the lives of everyone around us. If we continue to treat each other as friends, as teammates, and as equals, we can foster an environment free of gender-based violence and discrimination, because this is the world that we all want to live in. Thank you.
Thank you, Pria and Conrad. So we know that in order to be effective ending gender-based violence and violence against women, we must work at the intersections of gender equity and sports. Why sports? The sports world has always been dominated by men. Sports have always been used as a tool for men to show off their strength, courage, and overall masculinity. Sports like basketball reach a wide audience, including boys. So remember when I was talking about the message I was receiving growing up? Similarly to those experiences, the boys were also getting the same message about what it means to be a man. Like men don't share physical pain or emotional pain. Men are the bulletproofs of the team. So what if the message we all hear from these athletes was around speaking against injustice and advocating for human rights? I'm so excited. Please welcome Boston Celtics center Enes Kanter, an outspoken human rights advocate.
I was in trouble with this. There you go.
Good morning, everybody. It is my pleasure to stand here today with Jane Doe and all of you to talk about the necessary discussion that we must start in our society. It is important because it is now time to change narratives and perceptions about women. We can help end violence against women and also improve our own thinking as boys and men. Violence solves nothing. An attack on any woman is an attack on your mother, your sister, and your future daughter. We, as their brothers and allies, need to end this violence, be it emotional, physical, or mental. Violence comes in more forms than physical, and I stand with you young men today to pledge to stand up and move everywhere around the world to not put down violence in any space. It is an international human rights issue that cannot stand to be tolerated any longer. This is an issue that must come to a light and be resolved and continue to get worse. In my home country of Turkey, we are still behind with respect to improving women's place in our society. Treating them with respect, sending girls to school, and encouraging women to work. This is not right. We must start now and be the change. It is all starts in our minds. We have to first change our way of thinking. We need to rethink about what it means to be a man. This discussion has to start with our families, among our friends, and schools. We as a society need to create safe spaces which young men can express their feelings, emotions, and thoughts freely. As soon as we begin this discussion, we will see improvements, both in our own way of thinking and the way we interact with women. One way to reinforce positive masculinity and rethink manhood is to overcome our insecurity about being a man. It's a mental struggle, and we don't have to prove anything to anyone. The right thing to do is to spread respect among ourselves towards women. And we don't have to follow established traditional norms of manhood, overcoming our insecurity with respect and have to battle. And you will start seeing the positive impact of reimagined manhood. And some of the ways of which society expects you to act as a man are not always the right thing to do. You know, as a traditional manly behavior are even often harmful to ourselves, to other genders. In addition to mental health problems and insecurity that it creates, traditional masculinity is also a big factor in violent tendencies. Thousands of women suffer at the hands of abusive men every year in part of the misguided masculinity, and it is time to change. It is okay to ask for help from each other women, and it's okay to express emotions. It is okay to embrace genders that are different from us. It is okay to feel weak. It is okay to accept people of other genders who have a higher status in the society. It is okay to not be a breadwinner and provider of the family. It is okay not to be a self-reliant and ask for help. And also, it is not okay to resort to violence and build relationships that make others uncomfortable. And that means that I'm proud and humbled to add my name as a White Ribbon Day ambassador and join the Jane Doe invite men and boys across Massachusetts and beyond our borders to do the same. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Enes. I have to say that today was probably one of the best days of my job. I'm a huge basketball fan. I love basketball, as I said at the beginning. And I got to introduce Enes, and an amazing guy who believes that and supports the work that we do. I honestly, now I can say I could probably retire. I'm done. Never mind. But before I leave my job, I want to encourage you all to go beyond bringing attention to these issues. Beyond this press conference, we're here to be part of the solution to end sexual assault and domestic violence, and we must take action. Men and boys, elected officials, parents, coaches, athletes, the media, and the Commonwealth. Be proactive and change the future of reimagining manhood. I hope you were all inspired by our speakers today. You are and could be a positive example of what it means to be a man. So what can you do? That's the question I always get. How do I get involved? That's the question I also always get. All our speakers address the different ways in which you can get involved. So I am going to highlight a couple of those things that everybody stated. One, beyond educating yourselves about the facts of sexual assault and domestic violence, be an upstander, not a bystander. Speak up. Like Enes said, it's a clear example of what he's saying. Sexual and domestic violence is a human rights issue, and we cannot tolerate any longer, as Enes stated. Sports can have lasting effect on young men and boys. Sports taught me to work hard and be dedicated, passionate about my work, my teamwork, but it also taught me negative notions of what it means to be a girl in sports. It is time to address the elephant in the room. Do not teach our boys and young men to mask their feelings or to not show emotions, as Enes stated. Do not tell girls that certain sports are not for them and certain for boys. Actually, research shows that girls who play boys' sports tend to be more resilient. Have a space in our youth and professional athletes for transgender, gender non-conforming, and gender non-binary folks. Promote healthy, positive experiences around sports for our youth, like the example Pria gave about the folks in her teammate cheering for her. Hold people who cause harm accountable for their actions. Far too often, we are giving athletes, celebrities, and other public figures, and even those in our personal spheres, a pass on their behavior that is unacceptable. Remember that our youth are watching you. JDI has created a Reimagining Manhood toolkit. For those who are looking for inspiration on what to do and how to do it, go visit our website, janedoe.org/Y-Ribbon-Day, so you can get some examples of what to do. JDI member programs, Y-Ribbon Day affiliates, and ambassadors across the state have organized events and activities for you all to participate and take action. From raising a Y-Ribbon Day flag, to hosting a proclamation, to taking a pledge against violence and gender-based violence, to hosting community dialogues, workshops, they all taking an action. So please don't forget, leaving today, share how you're going to be taking action on our Instagram and #Reimagining Manhood, and share with us how you will be taking action. Thank you, everyone.